I'm breathing underwater. I'm weightless through space. I'm soaring like an eagle all over this place. Creatures most will never see are waiting there to look at me, and all I gotta do is breathe underwater. There are times when you get the feeling that Admiral Nelson is a little too inventive for his own good, and everyone else's. Last time it was 1978. A time machine that takes everything backward 2 years is useful for national defense. How? Hey, they finally built a mini sub with some muscle to it. And the diving bell is going to look for it, so apparently they also lost it.
Bell to winch. Have visual contact with defense drone 117. She's right below us, Chip. Another 10 fathoms and we'll be right in the lap.
Nelson's project is a bunch of missile-armed drones that can automatically activate if a threat to the country is detected. Those 3 circles on top are the missile tubes, and it's also armed with torpedoes for self-defense in case it picks up a threat coming at it.
Skipper, look at this. The drone, sir. Her aft hatch is opening.
She's gonna fire on us.
A threat like the diving bell?
Bell to control.
Dorothy?
The drone's gone haywire. Her main ports are opening.
It's armed with the most powerful wine bottles our defense budget could afford. I don't know why his next words aren't, "Get me out of here!" Because that thing isn't done with the bell. Now are you ready to be pulled up? Before anybody can come up with something to do about it, the missiles launch. Target, New York City.
New York City!
Missile room.
Aye, aye, sir.
Stand by to fire intercepts.
Missiles armed and standing by, sir.
They have anti-missile missiles and they're locked onto the targets. The first time I saw the phrase anti-missile missile, I think I was about 7 or 8, and I thought it was the silliest expression I had seen yet. I'm not sure that opinion has changed. Call it something cool like interceptor or hunting falcon, something that says I can blow you out of the sky. Their missiles do just that to 2 of the drones, but the third one is only damaged and knocked off course. It comes down in a remote area where it causes a massive forest fire, but the city is safe, for now. The drone sub is still on the move. The Seaview will stay on its tail and monitor what it's doing. Among other issues, that thing has a very large self-destruct charge built in. If it were to go off while they're near the drone, it could ruin their whole day. Speaking of ruining your whole day...
Well, I was against the drone submarine defense net from day one. I said then it was impossible to build unmanned, completely automated machines that would not break down. Deterrent against war. Insurance against sneak attack. Your words, Admiral. Now what have you to say now?
That's Senator Kimberly. He's going to be as useful as all politicians are in a crisis like this because all he can do is complain, gripe, and moan. He can't offer anything constructive, but you can bet once he gets off the line with Admiral Nelson, he'll be on the front steps in front of the cameras explaining that he knew this was happening, and that's why you need to re-elect him. Burt Remsen got into acting after he earned a Purple Heart in the Navy during World War II. He was a successful character actor in both movies and TV, but not long after this episode was filmed, he was on the set of a sitcom called No Time for Sergeants when a crane collapsed on him and broke his back. It was questionable whether he'd ever walk again, but he did, albeit with a cane. He decided his acting career was over, so he moved into casting and was a popular casting director for a few years. Along the way, a director offered him another acting role, and he discovered that he could still be an actor. He was a good one, too. If you don't want to punch this guy in the nose, you weren't listening to him.
My committee will be asking you some very searching questions, Admiral. You better have the answers.
I keep waiting for him to hit himself with that cane. The other admiral has more news.
This has started an international flap. Our allies are calling in. Vice Admiral Halder was just on video phone from their undersea defense base to say that his government will stand with us in case of need. He also said that he would like to help personally. He'll call you direct.
Good, we can use him. He knows as much about the drones as any man alive.
In fact, he's calling right now.
Admiral Halder.
This nonsense of rank is not for old friends. I am still Alex. But we have some trouble now, eh?
Big trouble, Alex. Have you tried to stop the drone from your East Command?
Repeatedly, with no success. Just one failure and they're ready to scrap all the drones. Fools. We don't discard a whole arsenal because one gun is bad. No, we fix the gun.
I like the way he keeps bellowing, old friend. And I'd really like to know what accent he's trying to do because he's not doing it. He arranges to come aboard and hangs up.
When the captain and I are aboard the Seaview, you will then stop the drone dead in the water. You will then receive a message in the special code telling you exactly when the frogmen leave the Seaview and how far they must swim. This will tell you exactly when to arm the self-destruct bomb aboard the drone.
How did I know he was going to be the bad guy? Because you just can't trust Harry Mudd. And Roger C. Carmel is Harry Mudd. Every role he did after that sounded like he was doing the Mudd character. Admiral Halder is no exception, so if I slip and call him Harcourt, you know why.
Harry. Yes, I like the Seaview.
Thanks, Alex.
She stops, sir?
All stop.
All stop.
So our little drone has some tricks we didn't know about, eh?
What about her secondary defense system?
Shutter bolt, sir.
And the self-destruct bomb?
The board reads safe and locked. The bomb can't explode.
Well, let's hope she stays that way.
Is Halder ever going to introduce the member of the team that doesn't have a mustache? I guess I'll take that as a no.
The drone's inspection hatch and airlock are here. Now, if the trouble's in primary control, you'll find it here. In the secondary, right here. Any questions?
No, sir.
Now, whatever you find, we want the drone's telltale brought back. It's an automatic unit that records all the drone's actions.
I always wonder how deep these things are and how safe it would really be for divers. Below a certain depth, the water pressure would be too much for the air pockets in the human body, not to mention the glass in the mask. That's one of the few things that gives me trouble in this series. I can accept a lot since we're in the future and technology is unpredictable, but this is basic physics. As far as we know, that doesn't change. Too much pressure makes mask go kaboom and blind diver. Too much pressure makes lungs go squish and makes diver unalive. Unalive blind diver can't recover telltale. Basic physics.
The frogmen have left the Seaview 500 yards from the drone.
Before someone brings it up, I know. That's a reel-to-reel tape recorder with only one functioning reel or something like that. She got the nearest reel spinning, recorded her message, and the tape she took off the other reel wasn't connected to the first reel. Except not. Watch it closely.
The frogmen have left the Seaview 500 yards from the drone.
You could see the end of the tape slip off the near reel, so all the tape is on the other one. There goes that joke.
For East Command Research Base, from Admiral Halder.
Yes, ma'am. Captain.
Wow. I thought I heard every noise there is. But this one.
It sounds like a sea lion with a stuffy nose. It's obviously encoded, but it'll take Sparks a while to figure that out. That's Halder's Undersea Defense Station. Didn't we blow that thing up a few episodes ago? They've received the captain's message and are carrying out their orders.
The self-destruct, sir. She's gonna blow.
Murphy, Jones, the self-destruct bomb is armed. Get away from there. Repeat, get away from there.
Too late, Admiral. The inspection hatch is clear.
When Admiral Nelson finds out who really did this, I hope he pins him down and pulls that mustache out one hair at a time with a pair of pliers.
The drone's broken up, sir. Scattered pieces. Sinking.
All compartments watertight. No visible damage.
But the bomb was unsafe. How could it have gone off?
That's what we have to find out, because what happened there could happen again. Lee, we've got to find that telltale.
I see.
Halder is thinking ahead, and he doesn't like the conclusions he's coming to. Or so he says, but we're the only ones who know otherwise.
You know, I think that the trouble might have been caused by moisture condensation in the primary control panel. We might have more rogues unless we make corrections. I think I should return to my base now and begin diagramming the changes.
That'll be a help.
I'd like to leave Captain Tabor here as my liaison.
As you wish.
They go off to discuss things before he leaves. The Seaview keeps searching for the telltale, but they can't find it. It's too small and the debris field is too big. As if it's not a difficult enough task already, this isn't helping.
Nelson. Contact was lost because the drone destroyed itself along with 2 men.
Coming at your mouth with your blah blah blah.
Captain Trober sends her next message and 3 more drones become active. Captain Crane has plotted their paths. They're on course for the east coast of the United States, and we know what comes next if they're not stopped.
Halder at East Command tells us that 3 more drones have defected.
Oh goody, look who it is.
Right, on course to attack the United States.
Well, I knew something like this would happen. Man-created mechanical monsters. A day had to come when the monsters would devour them.
Senator, those drones are not thinking for themselves. They're being directed by human minds.
Human minds? What human minds?
That's what he's trying to find out if you'll shut up and stop calling him for no good reason.
Our best weapon is still the ability to retaliate. We must know who is directing the attack.
We could find out from a drone telltale.
Can you get one?
I think I can. Drone 41 is within our reach. I think I can stop it and hold it with a force field long enough to get aboard.
But the self-destruct, it's already killed 2 men.
And I hope to be able to stop it from firing by jamming all radio channels, but that'll be blocking out all command signals to this area.
The force field has only come up one other time, but it has been established. And while the Seaview is primarily a research vessel, it can be called up for national defense, and any good defensive sub will have the ability to jam as many frequencies as its little heart desires. They've hooked up extra power to the force field to expand its range. Once they've captured the drone in it and cut off all electromagnetic access to it, Admiral Nelson suits up and prepares to swim over to it. Over Captain Crane's strenuous objections, needless to say. For one thing, there's this.
Admiral, there's a missile hung on that drone. She can fire at any minute.
Yeah, I know. I've been listening. I'll make this a little tighter, Kowalski. Yes, sir. Drone position?
Right below us.
Radio jamming, force field?
All frequencies jammed. Force field full on.
Well, just keep it that way and I'll be as safe as if I were home in bed.
It fired 2 of its missiles and Seaview shot them down, but the 3rd one is sitting there waiting for an excuse to do what explosives do.
For Admiral Halder?
No, ma'am. No transmissions of any kind until Admiral Nelson's back aboard.
Radio silence, so lonely, no communication.
I wonder what that's going to do to their plans. Nelson is on board the drone and working on opening the panel to access the telltale. I think Captain Trober may be panicking a little. She's playing a dangerous game if she does that. They'll know someone did it deliberately, and there's only one person on board who might have a reason to try and sabotage this operation. When Red Skelton did his character Junior the Mean Little Kid, he would often say, "If I doed it, I did a whipping. I doed it." Captain Trober has the same life philosophy.
Blow port tanks! Port tanks an emergency flood, can't blow them. Then flood the starboard tanks! We're losing a force field!
Wait a minute. The starboard tanks are the ones she already flooded. Captain Crane was a little confused at that point, and the boat wound up doing a complete barrel roll. Fortunately, the force field held in spite of it. Admiral Nelson has the telltale, and he's back on board the Seaview.
Okay, ma'am, I can take your message now.
Crane is transcribing what's on the telltale tape. For reasons I can't fathom, it's in Morse code.
Admiral Hollander has an A110. I could do it in 20 minutes. He's listed an hour away. Rewind the tape. I'll have Chip fly me over.
Why do I have a feeling that if things go according to certain plans, Chip won't be flying him back?
Chief, do you still have drone 41 on the control board?
No, sir. Drone 41 self-destruct, armed, fired, and wiped out all in one whack.
That was meant for you. Yeah, I suppose so.
He supposes so. It happened the moment they dropped the jamming. Had they not had the jamming, it would have happened while he was in the drone. You're a scientist. Do the math, Admiral.
Chip will fly me over to East Command and come right back here. You might need him.
Well, how will you get back?
Hollander will give me transportation.
Maybe, but being tied to one of those drones may not be the best way to travel.
Welcome aboard, old friend.
Alex, I've got some good news. We've recovered a telltale, and I've got the tape.
Ah, and you'd like to use our Mark 110 to pinpoint the source of the command signals that are directing the drones to attack the United States.
Right.
Well, I can save you that trouble, Admiral. The signals come from here. I am directing the attack.
Wow, his computer is fast. I don't think that was the reaction he expected. Halder might watch himself because Nelson is in really good shape, while Halder is shaped more like me. You notice it took 3 of those guys to take him down. Nelson wakes up in a storeroom with no interior door handle. Halder comes in to gloat.
I can't believe that your country would attack mine. We've been allies for too many years.
My country is not attacking your country at the moment. I am attacking your country.
Why?
I am the leader of a revolutionary movement. This demonstration of my powers will rally my people to my cause. Do you see?
So he's doing this for the good of his people.
And, if your people don't rally?
But they will. This demonstration will show what can happen to my own people if they defy me.
And he's going to do what's good for them if it kills them. This isn't about any cause. It's about him not being hugged enough as a kid.
Why are you keeping me alive?
Dead, you're nothing. Alive, you are a brilliant scientist. who may someday realize that it is better to work with us than to rot in a prison cell.
I guess that depends on what you want him to do now, doesn't it?
Ah, Captain Crane.
I'd like to speak to Admiral Nelson, sir. It's urgent.
He's not here, Captain. He used our transport to return to your ship. He left here 18 minutes ago, observing radio silence.
Did he learn anything from the tape?
No, Captain, nothing that will be of any value.
One of the most ancient stall tactics in human history. Oh, he's on his way there. Just wait for him. And you wait and wait and wait, and it takes too long to realize you've been stalled and the bad guy does bad stuff. But it may not work. Sparks has been doing some research when nothing's happening with the radio.
Every time I sent a message for Captain Tabor, I heard a loud squeal on the tape. I got to wondering, so I slowed the tape down and re-recorded it. About 30 times. And I've got this.
Code groups. Compressed in the squeal.
Yes, sir, and that's not all. Every time I send one of these, something terrible would happen. Like a drone would blow up, or another would go off station.
Let's run it through the computer.
It won't take long. Halder seems to know that his window of opportunity is closing, so he's delivering his message.
Tell my people this. At precisely 6 o'clock, there will be a demonstration of my power that will prove to them beyond a shadow of a doubt that I am the only man strong enough to govern them. In exactly 3 hours, the New York City area, the Philadelphia area, and the Washington area will explode in a sea of flames.
Those cities are on land, Admiral. You can't have a seat. Oh, he's using a metaphor.
Add drone 101. That makes a total of 12 drones now activated and headed for the Atlantic seaboard. And Lee, they do have something in common. All 12 will come within range of major eastern cities at the same moment. That moment is 2 hours from now.
1, even 3 were easy to handle. 12 is another matter. And Sparks's efforts have confirmed that all the directions were coming from the sea view.
Captain, Admiral Halder on video phone.
Ah, Captain. May I speak to Admiral Nelson, please?
He hasn't returned yet, sir.
Not yet. But he should have, long ago.
That's right, sir.
No duh. He doesn't know that Crane is on to him, so we have a nice advantage.
Is it possible that his plane encountered some difficulty on the way back?
It's possible.
Captain, can you return Captain Tabor to me here? She's urgently needed.
Yes, sir, we can.
Oh, sure, we'll return her, just as soon as you return Admiral Nelson. At least that's what I'd be saying. He would know that I'm on to him, and I have no problem sending her back strapped to a torpedo. But Captain Crane is just loading her into the flying sub and taking her over there. At least take a couple of guards, for pity's sake. Take a gun. What's his plan?
Ah, another mouse walks into the trap. Stand very still, Captain.
What is he doing? He knows it's a trap. He knows what she's been doing. And his solution is to walk face first into the next punch.
Well, have you nothing to say?
To a traitor?
The word is patriot.
Ooh, methinks the dude doth protest too much. Some of us know a lot about traitors who run around calling themselves patriots while they wave the flag of those well-known patriots, the Confederate States of America. You want me to believe you're a patriot? Put down the loser flag. Before he knows it, he's in the storeroom with Nelson.
Well, I'm glad you're here.
If you are?
If you weren't here, you'd be down at sea. This is better.
No, I don't think so. Halder's the man directing the attack against us.
I know. I finally cracked enough of the code to find out who the enemy was.
And you walked into this deliberately?
Admiral, Halder has 12 drones aimed at the eastern seaboard.
And I repeat, you walked into this deliberately rather than try to do something about the drones? Do you need a vacation?
From here.
Great. The transmitter's on the other side of this wall. Now get started.
He brought tools and thermite. It's nice to know he's not as dumb as he appeared to be. First, a little present for the techs running the transmitter. the thermite to burn a them-sized hole in the wall, and let's see what we can do about the drones.
None of the attacking drones are controlled from this room. But there are dozens of transmitting rooms, and we can't get at them.
Wait, he said this was the transmitting room. Now there are dozens. Which is it? In any case, fans of these reviews already know my solution. Start breaking stuff. A broken transmitter can't transmit, at least that's been my experience. The trouble is, if there are multiple such rooms, breaking this one will only stop one of the drones. That's not much help.
But we can destroy them. Now, the nearest drone to this point is 33. Something less than 10 minutes, drone 33 will attack this station. With this station destroyed, all the drones will go dead in the water.
Oh, that's good. Of course, if he does that and they manage to scramble out of here in the flying sub, someone can just reprogram it again.
Keep it that way.
Except if he does that. Drone 33 is now on course, and there's no way to send it a signal to do otherwise.
Admiral,
Yes.
drone 33 is heading for us. She does not respond.
Guards! Guards! Find the prisoners! Kill them!
That helps your situation how? It doesn't. It's petty revenge because he knows he and everyone else in the place is doomed.
4 minutes supply of oxygen.
That should be enough. Stand by to repel boarders.
Boarders repelled, but they're still stuck in here and the timer is running. However, at least now they have a weapon. Nah. Now they have two weapons. We've seen how those red-tipped pistols shoot electrical zaps, so let's get some mileage out of them. Bullets. The super-duper fancy guns shoot regular bullets. Were they the only prop guns Irwin had that day? At least give us a little consistency. That's from episode 8. Same pistol. I don't see any reason why they couldn't do the same thing here. It's kind of funny. Irwin didn't like reusing ideas, and yet in many ways he did the same thing over and over when it came to props. I'd love to see a full psychoanalysis of him. He was a fascinating character in his own right. So often in their lust to be the top dog, they forget that a bullet will do the same thing to them that it will do to any of the lesser beings. He'll hang on just long enough.
Admiral! Admiral, the drone is only seconds away!
Now see, they might have gotten out if he hadn't shot the airlock door. I'm sure it was a possibility. Who knows what the captain wanted to say to him before they blew up? Who cares?
All drones are returning to their stations. No possibility of further sabotage.
We've been informed that full reparations will be made at once. The United Nations will deal with the men who planned the attack.
Already taken care of, he should know that. But he's also correct that Halder had to have allies within the country, possibly even within the government, and they'll have to be rooted out and dealt with.
Admiral Halder was a brilliant man. I wonder why.
One always does.
It's not a big mystery. He told Admiral Nelson why. It's 3 letters, E-G-O. Ego. He concluded that he was so much better, smarter, and capable than anybody else in his country, it was obvious that he should take over. Having a bit of an ego wasn't a big stretch for Roger C. Carmel. In one of his most famous flaps, he left the sitcom called The Mothers-in-Law after the first season because he didn't think he was getting paid enough. For the second season, they hired Richard Deacon, who was best known as Mel Cooley on The Dick Van Dyke Show. Within about 3 episodes, he had made the part so much his own, viewers were saying, "Roger, who?" Having said that, he was a terrific actor who could do comedy, drama, or anything in between, as long as the contract included the mustache. I joke a lot about it, but it was his trademark, the thing that made him stand out, and Lord knows it worked. He also had the chops to back it up. When he was explaining his plan to Admiral Nelson, he was genuinely scary. The story itself is all too believable. Remember, this was before AI became a concern, but imagine an armed, autonomous network like this run by AI. Much as I hate to admit it, the senator was correct. It has the potential for the machines to take over. They still need human hands to create the programs and initiate them, but once they're running, they pretty much do as they please. Imagine one deciding that enough is enough in Ukraine and nuking Putin in Moscow. So the lesson here is pretty plain. If you're going to create such a network of drone submarines, don't let the other kids play with your toys.
I'm breathing underwater, I'm weightless through space. I'm soaring like an eagle all over this place. Creatures most will never see are waiting there to look at me, and all I gotta do is breathe underwater.
The Admiral, connected to the first reel. Do it again. All electromagnetic. Nelson's, that's, jeez. Nelson is. Why can't I stay that? Stay. Things go to according to his own right. Almost had it.